Imagine this. A personal tutor, always available, 24/7, right there in your pocket.
Hmm.
Not just some static program, but something that actually understands you, adapts to how you learn, and helps you exactly when and where you need it.
It sounds futuristic.
It really does. But, artificial intelligence is making this possibility real and fast.
Yeah, that vision, that whole idea of AI stepping in as a genuinely personal teacher or coach,
Hmm.
that's exactly what we're tackling in this deep dive. We've got
Yeah.
source material here that explores this exact potential, looking at what AI tutors actually are, how they function, the benefits they promise, and maybe most importantly, the complexities they bring along.
And that's the mission here at the Deep Dive, isn't it? We take these sources like this really comprehensive document you, our listeners, shared with us on this topic, and we pull out the absolute
The
essentials.
surprising bits, the critical stuff.
Exactly. The things you really need to grasp to be properly informed on something moving this quickly.
And it's a topic that touches almost everyone, right? Anyone who's learned, taught, or just wondered where education tech is headed. The potential is, well, massive.
But you have to get past the hype.
You do. Navigating it means understanding the details. So let's dig in.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning with what the source tackles first. What is an AI tutor, fundamentally?
Well, the source defines it pretty clearly. It's basically a computer program using AI to act like a human teacher or coach.
So does the touching stuff.
Yeah, presenting material, asking questions, answering your questions, giving you feedback. And here's the kicker: adapting to your specific needs.
Okay, but the source immediately flags something important, right? Autonomy.
That's right. It's crucial. AI tutors aren't all the same. They exist on this spectrum based on how independent they are from, human direction or preset scripts. The source actually breaks it down into 3 levels.
Okay, level one.
Level 1 is the AI teaching assistant. This is the lowest level of autonomy.
You're kind of a helper.
Exactly. Think of it like support staff for the human teacher. It's not designing the lesson or leading the class. It's more about handling the routine, maybe time-consuming tasks.
Like what kind of tasks?
The source gives examples like automatically grading multiple choice quizzes, maybe suggesting practice problems based on how a student's doing, or even answering those simple common questions that pop up all the
How are
time.
you freeing up the teacher?
Precisely. The human teacher is still firmly in the driver's seat, setting the strategy, choosing the content. The AI works within those boundaries.
So, like a super efficient assistant doing the background work, but not running the actual class.
You got it.
Mm.
It responds when asked or when certain conditions are met, but it's not setting the learning path itself. Then you step up to level 2, the intelligent tutoring system.
Okay, so these are a bit more independent.
A bit more, yes.
Mm-hmm.
These systems are designed to guide a student through a specific subject or a particular skill set. They have more autonomy to decide things like, okay, based on your last answer, this is the next problem you should tackle.
Ah, so it makes some decisions.
Right. Or it decides when and how to offer a hint if you seem stuck. They're more proactive, but, and this is key, it's usually within a very defined scope, meaning an intelligent tutoring system might be fantastic at teaching, say, just algebra. It knows algebra inside out. It can adapt the problem sequence, tailor the help for that specific topic.
But it won't suddenly start teaching you history.
Exactly. Its intelligence is specialized. It follows a curriculum that a human designed. The source notes that a lot of the AI learning tools out there today probably fall into this category, or the teaching assistant one.
Okay, which brings us to level 3. This sounds like the big one. The fully AI tutor or virtual teacher.
Yeah, this is where the autonomy really ramps up. This
Good.
represents the emerging edge. The source describes this as AI that could potentially behave much like a standalone human teacher.
Wow. So planning lessons and everything.
That's the idea. An AI that could potentially map out a whole curriculum for you, introduce brand new concepts, and importantly, adjust its teaching methods on the fly with very little human intervention once it's set up.
So it could design an entire personalized course just for me from scratch?
That's the ambitious vision, yeah. The source suggests this level could, in theory, create and guide you through a completely tailored path for a whole subject, maybe even a full course. But it's important to see how the lines are blurring here between a tool and something more autonomous.
Definitely.
And the source is careful to clarify. When we talk about AI autonomy in this context, it means the freedom to operate without constant human direction.
Right, it's not about consciousness or making ethical judgments like a person would.
Not at all. It's operational freedom.
Mm,
And the source points out that while most systems we see now are maybe lower or medium autonomy, the trend is clearly heading towards higher autonomy.
which raises those big questions.
Exactly. How much control are we actually comfortable handing over to an algorithm in education? Where do we absolutely need to keep that human judgment, that human element in the loop?
Those are huge questions, and we'll definitely circle back to them. But first, let's peek under the hood a bit. What actually makes these digital tutors tick? What's the tech?
Okay, yeah. The source highlights several key technologies working together. The first one is probably familiar if you follow AI news at all. Natural language processing, NLP.
That's the AI understanding and using human language, right?
Precisely. For an AI tutor, NLP is absolutely fundamental. It's how the AI figures out what a student is typing or saying. Like if you ask it, why does squaring x give both positive and negative roots sometimes?
It needs to understand the confusion.
Yes, not just the words, but the underlying concept the student is struggling with. And then it uses NLP again to generate a response that sounds natural, like a clear explanation, not just a string of keywords.
It needs that conversational feel.
Definitely. And the source mentions that with modern large language models, the kind behind things like ChatGPT, these tutors are getting really good at it. They can explain things, ask follow-up questions, even add a bit of encouragement, making it feel much more like a dialogue.
That fluency must make a huge difference in engagement. What else is driving this?
Reinforcement learning is another big one the source discusses. This is a major way these systems actually learn to become better teachers over time.
Learning from experience.
Kind of, yeah. Learning by trial and error, with feedback. The source has this neat analogy. Picture the AI as a little robot teacher. It tries a certain way of explaining something, or a specific type of hint.
Okay.
Then it looks at the result. Did the student get the concept? Did they answer the next question correctly? If yes, that's like a reward. The AI learns, okay, that strategy worked, and it's more likely to use it again.
And if the student is still confused?
That's a penalty. The AI learns, that approach didn't land, and it tries something different next time.
So it's constantly tweaking its own teaching style based on student responses.
Exactly. By running through maybe thousands, even millions of these simulated interactions, or just by adapting in real time to you, the learner, the system, optimizes its teaching tactics. It finds what works best to keep students learning and engaged.
It sounds a bit like how a human tutor adapts to, noticing what clicks.
Very much so. It's trying to replicate that adaptive skill, but using data and algorithms.
Okay, so it learns how to teach better. But how does it know what I specifically know or don't know?
That's where something called deep knowledge tracing comes in. The source explains this as the AI's way of keeping track of your individual knowledge state over time. Think of it like the tutor's internal notebook about you.
A constantly updated profile of my skills?
Pretty much, but really detailed. Every time you answer a question, ask for a hint.
Yeah.
How long you spend on something, all that interaction updates the AI's model of your understanding.
So it knows which specific skills I've got down and where I'm shaky.
Exactly. And the deep part means it uses deep learning specific types of neural networks, often things called LSTMs, which are good at tracking patterns over time to make this model really accurate. It's not just tracking right-wrong answers, but the pattern of your learning.
Okay, so it uses that pattern to predict what I need next.
Precisely. Based on your history, it predicts how likely you are to succeed on future tasks. If the model says you've mastered decimals, it might move you on to fractions. If it sees you're consistently bombing percentage word problems.
Yeah, circles back.
Right. It gives you more targeted practice right where the model indicates you need it. It's trying to automate what a really attentive human teacher does, adjusting the plan based on each student's specific progress.
That sounds incredibly powerful for personalization.
It really is. And the source also talks about adaptive content and feedback more broadly. This sort of covers how all these pieces fit together.
Like recommending the next video or exercise?
Yeah, exactly. Think of how Netflix suggests movies.
Yeah.
AI tutors use similar recommendation algorithms, but for educational content, the next video, the best practice problem for you based on your profile and what helps similar students. Plus, the instant feedback side, checking your math, maybe even giving automated feedback on writing using NLP, providing hints that are tailored because the knowledge tracing knows where you're likely stuck.
And the source mentioned even more advanced stuff like computer vision. using cameras.
Yeah, that's pushing the boundaries. Some systems are experimenting with using the camera to understand physical actions.
Yeah.
The source mentioned examples like watching your handwriting as you solve an equation and giving feedback on your process,
Oh.
or analyzing where a child is looking during an educational game to understand their focus.
That's definitely a glimpse into a very interactive future. So when you put all this tech together, the NLP, the reinforcement learning, the knowledge tracing, the adaptive content, it creates this continuous loop, right?
That's the heart of it. The source sums it up nicely. You, the student, do something. The AI evaluates it using all its tools. It responds with personalized guidance. You learn from that, take the next step, and the cycle repeats. It's this combination of data-driven adaptation and increasingly natural interaction that makes these AI tutors potentially so different.
Okay, understanding the how makes what the benefits even clearer. So let's talk about those. What are the big advantages for you, the learner, that the source highlights?
The absolute core promise, the one everything else stems from, is truly personalized learning. That one-on-one focus that's just impossible for a human teacher managing a whole classroom.
And how does that play out?
Well, the first major benefit the source emphasizes is learning at your own pace.
Not being rushed, not being held back.
Exactly. That's huge. If you're struggling with a concept, the AI can slow down, offer more examples, give you extra practice without you feeling embarrassed or like you're holding up the class. And if you get something quickly, it moves you right along, keeps you challenged.
You mentioned Duolingo earlier. Is that a good example?
It's a perfect example the source uses. Duolingo's algorithms track your performance. If you keep messing up, say, the past tense in French.
It gives you more practice on just that.
Right. More exercises specifically targeting that weak spot. But if you're acing vocabulary for food items, it won't keep drilling you on le fromage. It moves you to the next level. This custom pacing means your learning time is focused where it's needed most.
Which is hard to do for 30 different kids at once. What's another key benefit?
Adapting to your learning style. We all know people learn differently, right? Some are visual learners, some auditory, some learn by doing. AI tutors have the potential to figure out what works best for you.
How would it know?
Based on your interactions. Maybe it notices you consistently engage more or perform better when content is presented visually.
So it starts showing you more diagrams or videos.
That's the idea. The source suggests an AI math tutor might lean into using virtual blocks or graphs, if that seems to help you. Or, if you respond well to narratives, maybe it frames word problems more like stories. Conmigo, Khan Academy's AI, is even experimenting with different tutoring personas.
Personas, like different personalities.
Sort of. It might shift its approach, maybe asking more guiding Socratic questions if you seem curious and engaged, versus offering more direct hints if it detects frustration. It's trying to mimic how a skilled human tutor reads the room, or reads the student, and adjusts their style.
That adaptability is impressive. What else?
Instant feedback and practice anytime. This is a big one.
The 247 availability.
Exactly. You get immediate feedback. Yes, that's right. Or not quite. Here's why, which reinforces learning much faster than waiting for homework to be graded.
Yeah.
And the anytime part, huge. Stuck on Physics at 10 p.m. The AI tutor is there. Want to practice Spanish conversation at 6 a.m.? The AI chatbot is ready.
No scheduling needed.
None. The source mentions Conmigo's Tutor Me feature for real-time help, or language apps where you can practice speaking whenever you have a spare moment. It just lowers the barrier to getting that extra bit of help or practice, especially if accessing a human tutor is difficult or expensive for you.
Which connects to the next benefit, right? Accessibility and inclusion.
Absolutely. Because these tools often run on devices many people already have, like smartphones. They can potentially reach students who've been left out of traditional tutoring models. Think rural areas, under-resourced schools.
The source had that example from Ghana, didn't it?
It did, and it's powerful. They used an AI math tutor delivered through WhatsApp, something that works on very basic phones with minimal data. And the impact. Students using it just an hour a week showed math score improvements comparable to an entire extra year of traditional schooling.
Wow, that's incredible for such a low-cost intervention.
It really shows the potential to bridge gaps where qualified human help is scarce. And it's not just about geography or resources. The source also highlights how AI tutors can specifically help students with disabilities.
How so?
It gives the example of Ello, an AI reading companion that listens to a child read aloud. If the child, maybe one with dyslexia, stumbles on a word, the AI can detect that.
And correct them.
Gently,
Yeah.
patiently. It might just read the word or phrase correctly, providing non-judgmental support right when it's needed. That kind of consistent, patient feedback can be hard even for dedicated humans to provide all the time.
That sounds incredibly valuable, especially for building confidence in struggling readers.
It does. And the source mentions other possibilities too, like built-in text-to-speech, adjustable font sizes for visual impairments, maybe even AI-driven avatars that use sign language down the line. The point is the potential to customize the entire learning experience, including the interface, to meet diverse physical and linguistic needs.
Okay, so personalized pace, style, instant help, accessibility, it all sounds great. But the bottom line, do these things actually lead to students learning more?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the source says the early evidence is, and I quote, encouraging. It points to actual studies showing learning gains and engagement.
Like that Harvard study.
Exactly. College students using a custom AI chatbot learned roughly twice as much in a semester compared to peers in a standard lecture course. And they reported being more engaged, too.
Twice as much. That's a lot.
As a striking finding from that specific study, yes. Another experiment the source mentions involved high school math students. Those using an AI tutor not only performed better on tests, but they did it in less time. They gained about 10 minutes back per hour of learning.
Faster and better results.
In that case, yeah. And interestingly, many students in that study actually said they preferred the AI's explanations over their human teachers.
Ouch. But it suggests the personalization really resonates.
It does. When it's well designed, it seems AI tutors can boost effectiveness and efficiency. Students feel like the software gets them, which keeps them motivated.
So the promise seems backed by some real evidence, not just theoretical potential.
The potential is definitely being demonstrated,
Hmm?
but, and this is a big but, the source dives into deeply, it's not all smooth sailing. These powerful tools come with significant ethical baggage and practical hurdles that we absolutely have to confront.
Right, let's pivot to that. The challenges and the ethical minefield. What's the first major concern the source raises?
Algorithmic bias. This is a huge one across all of AI, but especially critical in education. The AI learns from data.
And if the data is biased?
The AI learns the bias. It can reproduce it, even amplify it. In an AI tutor, this could mean the system unintentionally favors certain cultural norms or maybe specific dialects of English.
How would that play out?
Well, the source gives a concrete example. An AI trained mostly on standard American English data might struggle to understand or might unfairly judge a student speaking African American vernacular English or someone speaking English as a second language with a strong accent. That could lead to inaccurate assessments of their understanding.
So the AI's benchmark for good communication is skewed.
Potentially, yes. And bias can creep into the content, too. If all the word problems use examples from one specific culture, or only depict certain types of families or lifestyles, students from other backgrounds might feel disconnected or excluded.
Makes sense.
The source also mentions a more subtle bias, the lowered expectation bias.
What's that?
Imagine the AI detects a student is struggling. Based purely on that performance data, it might start consistently offering them easier content, sort of shielding them from challenge.
Trying to be helpful, but maybe holding them back.
Exactly. It could inadvertently limit their growth by not pushing them appropriately. And the key difference the source highlights is that a human teacher can reflect on their own potential biases and consciously try to be equitable. An AI just follows its programming and data unless it's specifically designed and audited to counteract bias.
So diverse training data and transparency are key.
Absolutely crucial for fairness. Educators need to be able to see why the AI is making certain recommendations to spot these patterns, which leads into the next ethical challenge.
Behavioral nudging and autonomy. This sounds tricky.
It is. AI tutors are often designed to encourage certain behaviors. This can be positive.
Like reminders to study.
Yeah, or using points and badges for motivation, suggesting you take a break if it thinks you're tired, offering encouragement. These are often based on sound psychological principles. But the source warns there's a fine line between helpful nudging and, well, manipulation.
Manipulation. How could a tutor manipulate you?
Think about it. The AI is constantly learning what keeps you engaged. If the platform's success is measured by how much time you spend on it, there's a risk the AI could optimize for keeping you hooked, maybe by prioritizing more entertaining game-like activities over the slightly harder, deeper learning tasks.
So the goal shifts from learning to just using the app more.
It's a potential conflict of interest, especially with commercial products. And then there's the impact on the student's own autonomy.
You mean becoming too reliant on the AI?
Exactly. If the AI is always telling you the best next step or giving you hint after hint until you get the answer, do you ever really learn to struggle through a problem yourself, to develop that resilience, that critical thinking skill of figuring things out independently?
You might just become good at following the AI's instructions.
Right. The source asks that crucial question. Who's really in control of the learning? Is the AI serving your long-term educational growth or just optimizing for its own metrics? Users need some awareness of why the AI is suggesting things.
That requires really thoughtful design, focusing on empowerment, not just efficiency.
Absolutely. Which flows into the next massive ethical concern. Data privacy.
Yeah, this seems unavoidable. The AI needs tons of data to personalize, right?
Immense amounts. Every answer you give, how long you take, what hints you need, maybe even your typing patterns, your voice if you speak to it, potentially even facial expressions or heart rate if those sensors are used. It builds an incredibly detailed profile of you as a learner.
And that data is super sensitive, especially for kids.
Extremely sensitive. The source compares it to medical records. So the questions become, where does this data go? Who owns it? Who gets to see it? If it's a private company, could they use it for advertising? Could they sell it? What happens if they get hacked?
Huge risks.
Huge. Even if the data is used for research, which can be valuable, it needs clear consent and rigorous anonymization. And for minors, the privacy implications of recording their voice or video are profound. Laws like COPPA exist in the US, but the tech often moves faster than the regulations.
And does being constantly monitored change how students learn?
That's a subtle psychological point the source raises. Learning requires making mistakes, being confused, trying things out. If you know every single interaction is being logged and analyzed by an algorithm, does that make you less willing to take risks? To ask a dumb question?
It could create a chilling effect.
Potentially. So the solutions discussed involve strong privacy controls, encryption, giving users or parents in schools for minors real control over their data, including deletion, and absolute clarity in privacy policies about what's collected and why. Trust is non-negotiable here.
Makes sense. Okay, bias, nudging, privacy. What's the last major ethical hurdle?
Accountability and accuracy. This one's fundamental. If the AI tutor teaches you something wrong, who's responsible?
Good question. A human teacher is accountable.
Right. They're trained, certified, they have professional standards. But AI isn't perfect. The source reminds us they can make mistakes, they can hallucinate, confidently state incorrect information. If an AI teaches you flawed physics and you fail your exam, who do you complain to? Whose fault is it?
And what if it's not outright wrong, but just unhelpful?
That's another tricky area the source touches on, over-scaffolding. The AI might guide you so perfectly step by step that you arrive at the right answer, but you haven't actually learned how to solve it yourself. You just followed instructions. If you then fail without the AI's help.
Whose fault is it then? The AI's for making you reliant or yours for not learning?
Exactly. It creates new gray areas of responsibility. The source suggests we need clear lines of accountability, maybe through built-in oversight where the AI flags issues for a human, or external regulations requiring audits of AI content and its decision-making processes. And rigorous testing for accuracy is obviously essential, along with easy ways for users to report errors.
So, these ethical issues are really deep, forcing us to think about fairness, influence, safety, and who's ultimately in charge when AI enters the classroom.
They really are. The source strongly argues that these principles, equity, autonomy, privacy, accountability, can't be afterthoughts. They have to be baked into the design from day one. But ethics aside, there are also some very practical, on-the-ground challenges holding AI tutors back right now.
Okay, let's talk about those roadblocks. The source says AI tutors are far from perfect. What are the big limitations?
Well, the most obvious one maybe is the digital divide. That whole AI tutor in every pocket idea. It assumes everyone has a suitable device in their pocket and reliable internet.
Which just isn't true globally or even within wealthy countries.
Not at all. Many AI tutors need decent hardware and a stable connection, especially the more advanced ones using cloud processing. This immediately excludes students in low-income families, rural areas, or places with poor infrastructure. And the risk, the source points out, is that this widens the gap.
The students who already have advantages get another one.
Precisely. Instead of being the great equalizer, AI tutors could exacerbate existing inequalities if access isn't addressed deliberately. Bridging that divide through providing devices, ensuring connectivity, maybe developing simpler, offline-capable AI is critical. The source mentions the Ghana WhatsApp tutor again as an example of trying to work within limitations.
So access is challenge number one. What else?
Language and cultural barriers. We touched on this with bias, but it's a practical limitation too. Most of the really sophisticated AI development happens in English and a handful of other major languages.
So if you speak a less common language, the options are limited?
Very limited or non-existent or just not very good. Training high-quality AI in hundreds of languages requires massive amounts of data and resources that often aren't available. And even if the language is right, the cultural context might be wrong. That American football word problem.
Doesn't work everywhere.
Right. Or maybe essay feedback algorithms trained on one rhetorical style don't appreciate valid differences in how arguments are structured in other cultures. True global effectiveness needs much more linguistic and cultural nuance than we currently see.
Okay. And what about that risk of students just leaning on the AI too much?
Yes, over-reliance and skill erosion. The source calls this the ironic pitfall. A tool that's too helpful can become a crutch. If students just rely on the AI to feed them answers or guide every single step.
They don't learn to think for themselves.
Or develop resilience or problem-solving skills. The source revisits that study where students did well with the AI but struggled later without it. The interpretation was they hadn't truly internalized the skills because the AI might have been spoon-feeding them too much.
So the challenge is designing AI that helps you learn, not just helps you get the answer right now.
Exactly. It needs to know when to step back, when to let the student grapple with difficulty. Like a good human tutor who gradually fades their support as the student gains mastery. There's also the concern about basic skills. If the AI always autocorrects spelling or does the calculation, will students lose proficiency in those fundamentals?
Requires careful thought about implementation.
Very much so. Finding that right balance between support and productive struggle is key. Another huge limitation, maybe the most fundamental, is the lack of human touch.
AI can't replicate a real human connection.
No. Learning isn't just about information transfer. It's deeply social and emotional. AI lacks genuine empathy, inspiration, role modeling, can't read subtle moods, offer nuanced counsel based on understanding your life context, or spark curiosity with a personal story the way a human teacher can.
That connection matters, especially for younger kids.
It really does. For many students, the bond with a caring teacher is incredibly motivating. Relying solely on AI could make learning feel sterile and isolating, which is why the source suggests the most likely and probably best future involves AI augmenting human teachers, not replacing them.
Playing to each strength.
Right. AI handles the personalized practice, the instant feedback on routine tasks. Humans handle the mentoring, the complex discussions, the social learning, the emotional support. The source warns against automating the uniquely human parts of education.
And the last practical challenge, accuracy again.
Yes, accuracy and trustworthiness, but from a practical standpoint, we know AI models aren't perfect. They make mistakes. So a practical limitation is that these tools need ongoing monitoring. You can't just deploy an AI tutor and assume it's always right.
Students might learn incorrect information if it's not checked.
Exactly. Or the AI might contain outdated information if its knowledge base isn't constantly updated. There's also the risk of software bugs or content filters failing and showing inappropriate material. So you need safety nets, human oversight, robust testing, easy ways for users to flag errors. Reliability is paramount for trust.
Okay, so summing up the challenges. Access, language, over-reliance, the human element, and accuracy. AI tutors are definitely still a work in progress.
Very much so. The source stresses that understanding these limitations is key to using them wisely and not overhyping them. They're powerful tools, but not magic wands. And many challenges require more than just tech fixes. They need thoughtful policy and pedagogy.
But despite all those hurdles, the field is moving incredibly fast. The source also gives us a glimpse of what's coming next, right? Emerging trends.
Absolutely. What we have now is likely just the start. One major trend is towards multimodal learning experiences.
Multimodal, meaning using more than just text.
Exactly. Moving beyond text and simple graphics to incorporate voice, vision, using cameras, maybe even augmented or virtual reality.
So interacting in more ways.
Yes. The source paints some cool pictures. Imagine tackling geometry not just on a screen, but with an AI projecting a 3D shape into your room, using AR, letting you walk around it, manipulate it, or using AI with VR for a virtual science lab dissection.
Wow, that's immersive.
Or even simpler things like the AI using the webcam to watch you write out math steps and giving feedback on your process in real time. And voice interaction, just talking to your tutor, seems like a natural evolution for things like language practice or presentation coaching. Engaging more senses could make learning stick better for many people.
That sounds much more dynamic. What's another trend?
On-device AI and edge computing, This is about moving the AI processing from distant cloud servers onto your actual device, your phone, your tablet.
Why does that matter?
Several big reasons. Accessibility. If the AI runs locally, it can work offline. Huge for areas with spotty internet. Speed, no network lag means instant responses. And privacy. Less data needs to leave your device, potentially improving security.
So faster, more private, works anywhere.
That's the promise. Companies are getting good at shrinking AI models to run on phones. Think about the AI for voice assistants. Applying that to tutoring could mean having a capable conversational tutor or practice tool that works even without an internet connection. Schools might also prefer this for data security. It could make the AI in your pocket idea much more practical and robust.
That really does make it feel more tangible. What else is developing?
Emotion-aware and adaptive tutors. This taps into affective computing. AI getting better at recognizing human emotions.
The AI could tell if I'm frustrated.
That's the aim. Using your tone of voice, maybe facial expression via camera, even how fast you're typing. The AI tries to infer your emotional state. Are you bored, stuck, excited?
And then it would change its approach.
Yeah. If it senses frustration, maybe it offers a break, simplifies the task, gives more encouragement. If it senses boredom, maybe it ups the challenge, trying to keep you in that sweet spot for learning, the optimal zone of challenge.
That could be really powerful for keeping students motivated.
It could. The source also mentions AI simulating empathy, using a cheerful tone when you succeed, a patient one when you struggle, even building long-term rapport, remembering past difficulties and checking in. But the source adds a strong caution. This needs careful handling to avoid being creepy or manipulative.
A very fine line there. Okay, what's the final big trend?
Integration with human teaching and hybrid models. This is probably the most likely near-term future according to the source. Not AI replacing teachers, but AI tools blending into the existing educational ecosystem.
How'd that look?
Maybe AI tutor stations in classrooms for personalized practice while the teacher works with small groups, or AI homework tools that feed insights back to the teacher about where the whole class struggled.
Could AI and humans team up on tutoring?
Yes, hybrid tutoring is a key idea. AI handles the drills and basic Q&A, then maybe a human tutor joins via video for deeper discussion or mentoring. Or AI acts as a co-pilot for the teacher, suggesting specific interventions for individual students in real time.
Leveraging the best of both AI scale and data, human insight and connection.
Exactly. But this requires a big shift. Teachers need training on how to use these tools effectively, how to interpret the data, how to team teach with an AI. New roles might even emerge in schools, like someone overseeing the AI curriculum. And crucially, we have to make sure AI doesn't squeeze out vital time for peer interaction and social learning.
So the future looks more integrated, more interactive, more aware. Huge possibilities.
Huge possibilities, yes. But also, as the source concludes, huge responsibilities.
Which brings us right back to that fundamental question the source leaves us with. How do we actually do this right? How do we harness all this power to genuinely improve education for everyone without losing control or compromising our values?
The potential is undeniable. That idea of truly personalized, high-quality tutoring, becoming accessible to potentially every student, maybe shrinking those stubborn achievement gaps, it's incredibly compelling.
The dream of democratizing education on a massive scale.
It is. But the source is adamant. Good outcomes aren't guaranteed. It all depends on how we implement it. We need thoughtful governance, clear rules, strong data privacy, transparency about how the algorithms work, maybe those nutrition labels for AI. We need humans firmly in the loop.
And control needs to be shared with educators, not just held by tech companies.
Absolutely. Teachers need to be partners in this, understanding the tools, shaping their use. And teacher training needs to evolve rapidly. And always ensuring that the technology serves to enhance, not replace, the core human elements of teaching and learning.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the source leaves us and you with some critical questions to ponder.
Yeah, questions like, will AI tutors truly level the playing field, reaching underserved students? Or could they accidentally create new divides based on who gets access to the best AI?
Will they genuinely free up teachers for the complex human parts of their job? Or could they inadvertently de-skill the profession if we automate too much?
And maybe the biggest question, how do we as a society ensure this powerful technology stays focused on our deepest educational goals, fostering critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving, human connection, and doesn't just optimize for easily measured scores at the expense of what truly matters?
These are the conversations we need to be having now as these tools become more widespread. Keep these questions front of mind as you encounter AI in learning.
The potential for AI in your pocket to revolutionize learning is real, but making sure that revolution benefits everyone and reinforces rather than undermines our educational values, that takes conscious effort, careful design, and ongoing vigilance. The responsibility really is ours to get it right.